On the night of March 4, 1776, General George Washington ordered the Continental Army to fortify Dorchester Heights, strategic hills overlooking Boston and its harbor. Utilizing cannons transported from Fort Ticonderoga, the troops worked overnight to establish fortifications. This bold move threatened the British positions in Boston, leading General William Howe to decide to evacuate the city, effectively ending the siege of Boston. On March 4, 1789, the first United States Congress convened at Federal Hall in New York City, marking the implementation of the United States Constitution. This inaugural session established the legislative framework for the new nation, leading to the election of George Washington as the first president of the United States. In 1790, during the French Revolution, France reorganized its administrative structure by dividing the country into 83 départements. This restructuring aimed to eliminate regional loyalties tied to the nobility's land ownership and to centralize authority under the revolutionary government. In 1813, Cyril V was elected as the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, becoming the spiritual leader of the Eastern Orthodox Church. His tenure contributed to the Church's resilience during a period of significant political and social changes in the Ottoman Empire. On March 4, 1814, during the War of 1812, American forces defeated British troops at the Battle of Longwoods, located between present-day London and Thamesville in Ontario. This engagement demonstrated the strategic importance of controlling supply routes in Upper Canada. On March 4, 1848, King Carlo Alberto of Sardinia signed the Statuto Albertino, a constitution that later became the foundational legal framework for the Kingdom of Italy. This document represented a significant step toward Italian unification and the establishment of constitutional monarchy. On March 4, 1849, President-elect Zachary Taylor and Vice President-elect Millard Fillmore did not take their oaths of office, postponing the inauguration to the following day. This delay led to a misconception that Senator David Rice Atchison, as President pro tempore of the Senate, assumed the role of acting president for one day. On March 4, 1861, the Confederate States of America adopted their first national flag, known as the Stars and Bars. This flag featured a design distinct from the Union's Stars and Stripes and symbolized the Confederacy during the American Civil War. In 1878, Pope Leo XIII restored the Catholic Church's hierarchy in Scotland, re-establishing dioceses and appointing bishops for the first time since 1603. This move marked a significant revival of Catholicism in the region after centuries of Protestant dominance. On March 4, 1882, Britain's first electric trams began operation in East London. This innovation marked a significant advancement in urban public transportation, paving the way for the widespread adoption of electric tram systems. On March 4, 1890, the Forth Bridge in Scotland was officially opened by the Duke of Rothesay, later King Edward VII. Measuring 8,094 feet, 2,467 meters in length, it was the longest bridge in Great Britain at the time and remains an iconic example of Victorian engineering. In March 1899, Cyclone Mahina struck north of Cooktown, Queensland, Australia. The cyclone generated a massive wave, reportedly 12 meters, 39 feet high, that reached up to 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles inland, resulting in over 300 fatalities. It remains one of the deadliest natural disasters in Australian history. On March 4, 1901, President William McKinley was inaugurated for his second term, with Theodore Roosevelt as vice president. This inauguration marked the beginning of McKinley's final term, as he was assassinated later that year, leading to Roosevelt's succession to the presidency. In 1909, President William Howard Taft appointed Philander C. Knox as Secretary of State to circumvent the U.S. Constitution's ineligibility clause, which prevents members of Congress from being appointed to positions they had previously voted to increase the salary for. A mechanism known as the Saxby Fix was employed. This involved reducing the salary of the position to its previous level, allowing Knox's appointment to proceed. In 1916, Jeannette Rankin of Montana made history by becoming the first woman elected to the United States Congress. She was sworn in as a representative on April 2, 1917. A dedicated pacifist, Rankin notably voted against U.S. entry into both World War I and World War II during her two non-consecutive terms. On March 4, 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt appointed Frances Perkins as Secretary of Labor, making her the first woman to serve in a U.S. presidential cabinet. Perkins played a pivotal role in shaping New Deal policies, including establishing Social Security, unemployment insurance, and minimum wage laws. In March 1933, Austria's parliament was suspended following procedural disputes. Chancellor Engelbert Dollfuss seized this opportunity to establish an authoritarian regime, ruling by decree and effectively dissolving democratic governance in Austria. On March 4, 1941, the United Kingdom launched Operation Claymore, the first large-scale British commando raid, targeting the Lofoten Islands in Norway. The operation aimed to disrupt German operations, resulting in the destruction of fish oil factories and the capture of German personnel and codebooks. On March 4, 1957, Standard & Poor's introduced the S&P 500 stock market index, replacing the earlier S&P 90. This broader index provided a more comprehensive reflection of the U.S. stock market's performance and has since become a key economic indicator. In a March 1966 interview with the London Evening Standard, the Beatles' John Lennon remarked that the band was more popular than Jesus now. This statement sparked controversy, particularly in the United States, leading to public protests and record burnings. On March 4, 1976, the Northern Ireland Constitutional Convention was formally dissolved after failing to achieve consensus on power sharing. This dissolution led to the continuation of direct rule of Northern Ireland from London by the British Parliament. On March 4, 1977, a devastating earthquake struck the Vrancea region of Romania, affecting Eastern and Southern Europe. The quake resulted in over 1,500 fatalities, with the majority occurring in Bucharest, Romania's capital. In March 1980, nationalist leader Robert Mugabe won a decisive election victory, becoming Zimbabwe's first black prime minister. His leadership marked the end of white minority rule and the beginning of a new era in Zimbabwean politics. On March 4, 1990, Lennox Seba, the president for life of the South African Bantustan of Ciskei, was ousted in a bloodless military coup led by Brigadier Opa Gikwozo. This event marked a significant shift in the region's political landscape. On March 4, 1998, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Onkali v. Sundowner Offshore Services, Inc., that federal laws banning on-the-job sexual harassment apply when both parties are of the same sex. This landmark decision expanded workplace protections against harassment. On March 4, 2009, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir, charging him with war crimes and crimes against humanity in Darfur. Al-Bashir became the first sitting head of state to be indicted by the ICC. On March 4, 2018, former MI6 spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia were poisoned with a Novichok nerve agent in Salisbury, England. The incident led to a diplomatic uproar, resulting in mass expulsions of diplomats from the countries involved.